Formula One drivers are the elite of the elite, but that doesn't mean every one of them has lived up to the hype. Over the years, a few drivers have stepped into the spotlight only to find themselves, well, a bit out of their league. Here are some of the drivers who struggle to make a lasting impression in the world of Formula One. Before we get started, make sure that you've hit the subscribe button along with the bell icon so you don't miss out on new content. Nicolas Chiesa. Not the most seasoned driver out there, Nicolas Chiesa got his shot in F1 with Minardi in 2003 after Justin Wilson, who could also make this list, left for Jaguar. Chiesa's junior career was solid, but not exactly jaw-dropping. He managed a win in the Formula 3000 race at Monaco thanks to an error by Bjorn Werdheim, and had just switched to Supernova Racing when Minardi gave him the call-up for F1 at Hockenheim in August. Having never driven an F1 car, Chiesa needed to complete 300 kilometers of testing to secure his super license. So Minardi boss Paul Stoddart arranged a session at Mugello before the race weekend. Teamed with seasoned driver Jos Verstappen, Chiesa couldn't out-qualify or finish ahead of his Dutch teammate. He kept his races clean, but never came close to scoring points. While Chiesa showed maturity and admitted he needed more speed to match Verstappen, he couldn't secure a seat for 2004. He briefly served as a test driver for Jordan Midland in 2005, but his racing career quickly faded. After a short, unsuccessful stint in DTM in 2006, Chiesa stepped away from racing. Today, he's a TV commentator, an instructor for Porsche and Lamborghini, and even a guest lecturer. Nikita Mazepin worked his way up the junior ranks as a test driver for Force India and Mercedes. After a strong GP3 season in 2018, his first year in Formula 2 was disappointing, finishing 18th while his teammate Nick de Vries won the title. Things looked up in 2020 when Mazepin placed 5th with High-Tech Grand Prix, a team his father, Uralkali's chairman, invested in. In 2021, Mazepin joined Haas as a pay driver to help the team's finances post-COVID. His F1 debut in Bahrain started poorly, qualifying nearly a second behind rookie teammate Mick Schumacher and spinning into the gravel by the third corner. He earned the nickname Mazespin after recording over 25 spins that season, though he rarely caused significant damage. The Haas VF21 was notoriously hard to handle, but Mazepin struggled far more than Schumacher, who generally outpaced him by half a second per lap. When Mazepin finished ahead, it was often by just a few seconds, while Schumacher's leads averaged over 30 seconds. Both drivers were set for 2022, but Haas cut ties with Mazepin and Uralkali after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, due to EU and UK sanctions on Russian companies and figures with ties to Vladimir Putin. Mazepin hasn't returned to FIA-sanctioned racing since. Roberto Merhi. Roberto Merhi was well-liked and easygoing, but his time in F1 was short and didn't leave much of an impact. After finally winning the Euro Formula 3 title in 2011 with Prema, he joined Mercedes' junior program and even had Michael Schumacher as a mentor in DTM. Unfortunately, it didn't help much. Merhi finished 2012 with 0 points and only managed 26 points in 2013, mostly thanks to a second-place finish at the season finale. A shift back to single-seaters in 2014 seemed to turn things around, as Merhi placed third in Formula Renault 3.5, behind Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly. This led cash-strapped Caterham to bring him on as a test driver, but when the team went into administration, his shot at racing in Abu Dhabi went to Will Stevens instead. In 2015, Merhi joined Mana Mauritia alongside Stevens, but struggled with the uncompetitive car. Often at the back, Merhi was further handicapped by outdated parts, and the heavier car weight put him at a disadvantage against Stevens. Mid-season, Mana swapped him out for Alexander Rossi, though Merhi returned for some races depending on Rossi's commitments. By 2016, Mana had moved on. Since then, Merhi has shifted to endurance racing and returned briefly to Formula 2, finishing second in the 2021 S5000 Tasman Series. Rio Haryanto. Rio Haryanto's junior career in GP3 and GP2 was fairly modest, even after 2 years with Mana in GP3. But with a best result of 4th overall in 2015, his 4th year in the series, backed by Indonesian government sponsorship, Mana gave him a shot in Formula 1 for 2016. His debut race didn't go smoothly. A collision with Romain Grosjean in the pit lane earned him a 3-place grid penalty. Driving for a financially struggling team, Haryanto's season unfolded as expected. His best finish was 15th in Monaco, 4 laps down and last of the classified drivers. The Austrian Grand Prix highlighted the gap between him and his teammate Pascal Wehrlein, who finished 10th to score Manor's only point that year, while Haryanto ended 16th, 25 seconds behind. Further struggles forward with spins at Silverstone and last-place finishes in Hungary and Germany. When his Indonesian government funding was suddenly blocked by Parliament over invalid funding procedures, Haryanto's F1 career abruptly ended. There was little reason to keep him, as Wehrlein had clearly outperformed him, so Esteban Ocon took over his seat. Haryanto moved on to the family business, managing the security printing division at Kiki, and tried his hand at Blancpain racing in Asia, though without much success. Sakon Yamamoto. Sakon Yamamoto's junior career didn't exactly turn heads, nor was he a standout talent in Japan. Yet when Aguri Suzuki's Super Aguri team needed a Japanese driver to replace Frank Montgani, who had himself replaced Yuji Ide, they chose Yamamoto. With just 7 races to finish the season, Yamamoto's F1 debut was rough. He retired from his first 4 races and often qualified last. At Monza, he was 1.8 seconds off the pace, partly due to a tyre issue, but did manage to finish the final 3 races, although far behind his teammate Takuma Sato. By 2007, Anthony Davidson was chosen over him, and Yamamoto became a test driver. He also returned to GP2, but his F1 experience didn't translate into points. After Christian Albers left Spiker, Yamamoto got another F1 shot, but crashed on the lap 4 in Hungary and mostly trailed the field after that, while teammate Adrian Sutil even scored a point in Japan. In 2010, he joined HRT, replacing Karun Chandhok. Struggling to keep up, he was lapped by teammate Bruno Senna in Hungary and accidentally injured a mechanic at Monza after a signal error. Yamamoto's F1 career ended after finishing last in Japan and Korea. Since then, he shifted to politics, advocating for elderly care, and was elected to Japan's House of Representatives in 2021. Yuji Ide. While the other drivers on our list just lacked that extra spark to succeed in Formula One, only one stands out as so unprepared that the FIA had to step in. Japanese driver Yuji Ide holds the unfortunate title of having his FIA super license revoked early in the 2006 F1 season, making his career one of the shortest in F1 history, just 4 race weekends. Before F1, Ide had done fairly well in Japan, finishing second in Formula Nippon, now Super Formula in 2005. Honda, hoping for an all-Japanese lineup at their Super Aguri team, signed Ide as Takuma Sato's teammate. However, at 31 years old, Ide struggled to adapt to Formula One, a challenge worsened by his limited English, which made it difficult to connect with his team. He quickly found himself spinning off track, taking odd racing lines, and generally struggling to handle the car. Even Aguri Suzuki, the team boss who'd supported him initially, started to lose patience. Suzuki admitted that Ide lacked a fundamental understanding of the car. Unsurprising, given Ide had only 200 kilometers of testing before his Bahrain debut. The breaking point came at Imola, where Ide caused a serious crash with Christian Albers, flipping Albers' car upside down. The FIA swiftly intervened, revoking Ide's license and banning him from further F1 competition. Super Aguri announced the decision. The FIA permit office has retracted Yuji Ide's super license. He will therefore not be participating in any further official FIA Formula One World Champion events this year. Afterward, Ide returned to Formula Nippon, but ended the season without any points. Unsurprisingly, an F1 comeback never happened. That's all for today. Which of these drivers do you think had it the worst? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay on the lookout for more.